Not slaves, not aliens. In 2024, an artificial intelligence was handed the most studied monument in human history and asked one blunt question: who really built the Great Pyramid? And Elon Musk found himself standing right in the middle of the answer. Not slaves, not aliens. So this time the question wasn't put to a historian or an archaeologist. It was put to Grok, the AI built by Musk's own company, xAI. The system was reportedly fed every measurement, every survey, every geological scan, every astronomical alignment, and every engineering tolerance ever recorded about the Great Pyramid of Khufu, with a single instruction: analyze this without loyalty to any existing theory, and report only what the numbers actually say. And the answer it gave back was not a name, it was not a date, it was something stranger, and quieter, and far more unsettling. Because a machine with no career to protect, no tenure to lose, and no professor to please, looked at 2.3 million blocks of stone, and it could not reconcile what it saw with the story we've all been told. So let's explain it. The Great Pyramid, on the outskirts of Cairo, was built for the pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE, during Egypt's 4th dynasty. Roughly 2.3 million stone blocks, weighing between 2.5 and 15 tons each, were stacked into a mountain that stood as the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. And even with all our modern technology, we still struggle to explain how it was built so perfectly. That difficulty is exactly why two great myths took hold. And before we get to what Grok found, we have to tear both of those myths down. Start with the oldest story of all, that the pyramids were built by slaves, hundreds of thousands of them driven under the lash. The source is the Greek historian Herodotus, who visited Egypt around 450 BC, more than 2,000 years after the Great Pyramid was already finished. He was told, and faithfully wrote down, that 100,000 men labored there in misery. The story survived for 2 millennia, and cinema gave it whips and chains. Then, in 1990, a tourist riding near the plateau was thrown when a horse stumbled on a low mud brick wall. That wall turned out to be a tomb, and behind it lay an entire cemetery, the graves of the very people who built the pyramids, laid to rest in the shadow of the monuments themselves. These were not the burials of slaves. The workers were buried with honor, with bread and jars of beer for the afterlife, within sight of their king. Egypt's chief archaeologist, Dr. Zahi Hawass, put it bluntly. "No way," he said, "would they have been buried so honorably if they were slaves. Their skeletons tell the rest. Many bones show healed fractures, set and mended by skilled hands," meaning this workforce received real medical care, and it was fed remarkably well. Excavations at the workers' settlement uncovered bakeries, breweries, and barracks, and cattle bones enough to feed a small town. That is not the record of a slave camp. It is the paperwork of an employer. And then there is the paperwork itself. In the autumn of 2013, a French archaeologist named Pierre Tallet broke the ancient seals on a set of galleries at Wadi al-Jarf, on the Red Sea coast, and realized no one had stood in that darkness for 4,500 years. On the floor lay papyrus, the oldest inscribed papyrus ever found on Earth. It was not a prayer or a royal decree. It was a work diary, the logbook of an ordinary middle manager named Merer, who supervised a crew of about 200 men shipping white limestone down the Nile to Giza. For the first time in history, we could read the words of a man who actually helped build it. So that settles the first myth. Now the second, the modern one. And this is where Grok enters the story. Musk has flirted with this idea before, tweeting in 2020 that aliens built the pyramids, a claim he later walked back. But Grok is no longer the toy it was when xAI launched it in November 2023. Grok 1.5 arrived in March 2024. Grok 3 landed in February 2025, trained with 10 times the computing power of its predecessor. Grok 4.1 followed in November 2025, and Grok Imagine, which generates video, in January 2026. Just tomorrow, on July 9, 2026, xAI is set to release Grok 4.5, which Musk calls an Opus class model. This is the machine that was pointed at the pyramid, and here is what it flagged. The base of the Great Pyramid covers 13 acres, and it is level to within roughly 2 centimeters, less than an inch, across the entire footprint. An accuracy engineers would envy with modern laser gear. Its four sides aligned to true north, within just 3 to 4 arc minutes, about 5/100ths of a single degree. The casing stones were fitted without mortar to an average gap of 0.5 millimeter, so tight that a razor blade cannot slip between them, and the AI kept finding mathematics where it expected only stone. The perimeter of the base divided by the original height comes out to roughly 2 times pi. The golden ratio, phi, appears in the slope of the faces and the internal geometry, across multiple independent measurements. Then came the part that unsettled people most. Grok reportedly calculated that to finish the pyramid inside Khufu's 20 to 27-year reign, the workforce would have needed a labor efficiency about 40% higher than any other confirmed large-scale ancient project. It noted the 70-ton granite blocks hauled from Aswan, 500 miles away, and it observed that a massive hidden void, discovered above the Grand Gallery in 2017 by the Scan Pyramids Muon scan, eerily matched modern load relief engineering principles. Here is the honest part, the part that matters most. Grok did not say aliens. It did not say impossible. It said in effect that our current explanation may not fully account for the precision the numbers reveal. There is no peer-reviewed study behind these viral claims, and much of it comes from speculative videos, not from XAI itself. And you don't actually need the mystery, because the truth is more remarkable than the fantasy. The real answer is an organized, salaried, well-fed, and genuinely proud workforce of 20 to 30,000 people, rotating in shifts, led by the architect Hemianu, supplied by managers like Merer, and honored in death within sight of their king. Deep inside the pyramid, one crew even left its name painted in red ochre. They called themselves the Friends of Khufu. That is the answer. Not slaves broken by the lash, not visitors from the stars. Human beings so organized and inspired that thousands of years later, even a machine built to have no illusions could barely believe they did it. That's it for today. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell.